Trekcast.
The galaxy's most unpredictable Star Trek podcast.
There he is, just swaying to the music. Feeling it.
Heck
Swaying
yeah.
like Stevie Wonder. Yeah, there you go.
Loving it. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, man. How you doing?
Good. Welcome to Trekcast, everybody, the galaxy's most unpredictable Star Trek podcast. My name is Scott, and with me in the other corner is Daniel Reyes.
That's right, in the opposing corner.
Yeah, the opposing corner.
That's right.
Round one, fight.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I don't want to fight. Not if I don't have to.
fight either.
Oh well. How you been, man?
I'm doing good. I got a new setup here, so I don't know how my internet's going to go. So we're gonna here. So
do you tie up all the twine together to make?
I got all the twine tied together. I got like 4 cups, and yeah.
Well, hopefully Beyonce's internet holds out for you.
Yes, we can hope. We can hope.
Yes, indeed.
So what are we doing? What's going on today?
Yeah, so we're continuing our trip in the Kelvin universe. Our main topic will be reviewing Star Trek Into Darkness, which I had not seen since, I don't know, maybe right around the time it came out.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
I have thoughts. I have thoughts.
I've got 1 or 2.
Yeah,
I've got 1 or 2.
I think it'll be
the movie on Blu-ray. I've got the Blu-ray copy.
Yeah.
Watched all the special features.
Wow.
There's some good special. No director's commentary on this Blu-ray, but
they didn't want to talk about it, huh?
They did not want to talk about it, but I do.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely have things to say. I have some observation, especially in light of New Trek. So,
oh yes,
oh
yes.
So we will definitely get to that. But how's your week been, man?
Week going good. Just got a new computer, so that's why.
Oh, nice.
I'm usually when I do the show, I'm actually doing it on my phone.
Is that a bat'leth behind you?
Yes, that is a bat'leth behind me.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
So you got some home security. That's good.
I haven't really set up the office yet. Like I gotta cover this window. Probably that. Or I actually got another Star Trek banner I can put right there just to.
Oh, okay.
The light to not be so. But,
right. That's the technical term for it is
yeah. You don't want too much of the. That's what all the engineers like doing movies. Like J.J. Abrams would be like. Actually, J.J. Abrams would be like, "Give me more."
Yes, exactly.
He'll shine his flashlight in the camera. So, So I'm got a new setup, so I can actually see you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Before, you're like this big to me.
Oh, okay.
Normally you're just a little tiny little thing, and I can see the chat window.
Oh yes, that's right. We got the chat.
If the internet holds out, then
you'll be unstoppable.
I'll be unstoppable.
There you go.
How about you? How you doing?
Oh, good. Trying to think. What have I've been working on my script, basically, just same as always.
Okay, cool.
I did see that you're building some sort of closet storage unit.
Yeah, down at the end of the downstairs. What's that? Yeah, where we keep Chad.
Okay.
At the end of the hallway, there was just this empty space, and so I sort of Forrest Gumped my way through making a closet. or make it
Nice.
like a 4-door cabinet. And so
Okay,
I'll post some pictures. I think it turned out pretty good. But
that's awesome.
the cabinet is down a hallway at the
Mhm.
it's at the bottom of the stairs, and that's where I've hung up all my like celebrity photos and stuff. Like
Oh, nice.
I've got pictures of me next to um, some Star Trek celebrities and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So yeah, I'll take some pictures and post them on the Facebook group.
Okay, very cool. Oh, good morning, Jazzbiz. He says good morning.
Morning, Jazz.
Yeah. All right.
So
Well,
that's what's going on with me?
yeah. Okay. Well, I guess with that, we should get to the Star Trek news.
Let's do it.
Star Trek news.
All right. So our first news story comes to us from Newsweek. Let me just pull that up here right now. And this is kind of interesting. So Jonathan Frakes, Riker, is saying the new Star Trek series is for hardcore fans. So at a recent comic book convention in Indiana, Jonathan Frakes was part of a panel with Brent Spiner and Denise Crosby. Crosby.
I like the new
It's
name.
early. Yes, everybody loves that Crosby favor.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Crossbreak
Yes.
Crunch. I love it. My favorite
Indeed.
breakfast cereal.
Yes. Amazing. A fan asked, what can we expect with Star Trek Starfleet Academy, right? Is it going to be geared more towards younger viewers or longtime fans? To which Riker said, "Oh boy, baby. It's so much more for hardcore Star Trek fans than you happen to know." He says, yes, there are young people in it, but the movie stars run it's the show, basically. And when he says movie stars, he's referring to Paul Giamatti and Helen Hunter and Holly Hunter, who are in it as well.
Okay. All right.
So he also did kind of give us a little bit of a spoiler. He said he wasn't sure if he was supposed to talk about it or not, but then he went and talked about it anyways.
Mhm.
And apparently the Starfleet Academy will have their own ship, much like DS9 had the Defiant.
Oh, okay.
I feel like we knew that before.
Did we okay?
I could be wrong,
That'd be
but
something that I guess we don't know a lot about Starfleet Academy as an
yeah, it's
entity,
whatever they want it to be.
and we really don't know anything about Starfleet Academy in the 97th century or
Right.
whatever. So
Yeah.
I guess they can have their own ship. Red Squad uses a ship
Yeah.
sometimes. you
Yeah.
know?
So
Yeah, whatever. They can do whatever they
yeah.
want. It's either going to be really good or it's going to be absolutely terrible.
I love that it says at the bottom of the story that Starfleet Academy is set to release either later this year or early 2026 because nobody knows.
No, nobody knows. And didn't it say that it's also they filmed? It's already filmed, like it's already done.
They finished principal shooting already, but they still got to go do the special effects and all that.
Okay.
So,
If they need any help, I've put together a couple of YouTube videos, so I'm sure it's
yeah,
pretty
there you go.
interesting.
It's a little bit more complicated than that.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
They probably use a little bit better video editing
Yeah.
software that I have.
Yeah.
They're probably not using CapCut.
No. They're probably using Premiere
Yeah.
or probably Final Cut X. Well, probably Premiere, but Final Cut X is another one. Yeah. I don't know, man. What does this make you feel with Riker saying this is going to be for the hardcore fans?
Look, everybody knows I'm a huge Jonathan Frakes fan.
Indeed.
He's done some great things for Star Trek.
Mhm.
He's not perfect. I'm a big fan of his, and if he says it's going to be great, I have no reason to not believe him at this point.
Okay.
So I'm gonna jump right into Academy. So,
Yeah. I don't know if it makes me feel like, oh yeah, we're on good solid ground now. I don't think it alleviates that sort of hesitation.
right.
I do think it's interesting that very clearly they know there is some trepidation with this series,
Yeah.
that people are not, this is not the series that we want.
Well, Shaka, when the walls fell, I will go in this, strong beard, his eyes open.
Right. Nice. I like that. Jasmine says, I want it to be good. Yeah, we all do, buddy. We all want it to be good.
Yes.
That's
Very
the
much
hope.
so. very much so, because I feel like Star Trek as a franchise, as a cultural phenomenon, is standing at a precipice,
Mhm.
and there's really only two directions it can go.
Yeah.
And I don't want Star Trek to die this year or next year,
Mhm.
because it just came back, baby.
Yeah.
And it just came back, and it's back, and it's got shows, and it's got, I mean, I guess kind of a movie, but it's here right now. Let's grab a hold of it and hold on to it as best we can. You hear that, Paramount? Don't screw this up.
Frostback says it's going to be a Disco Prodigy mixed with the EMH Doctor.
I mean,
It could theoretically.
there was parts of Discovery I liked. I don't know who doesn't like the holographic Doctor,
Right.
and for those who watched Prodigy, it's not bad. So
Yeah.
Maybe they'll surprise us.
Hopefully so.
And as much as I hate Paul Giamatti,
Mhm.
maybe hate's not strong enough a word. I despise
wow.
Paul Giamatti. A lot of people do like him.
Yeah.
So and I've been told by other people that he's a really good actor.
I mean, we've had 2 on-screen incarnations of the Rhino, and he's the best one.
Yeah, okay, I guess I can agree with that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I don't know what that says, but it's weird that there's 2 of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So all right.
All right.
I'm excited for Academy.
Okay, we'll go with that. All right, let's go to our next news story, and this comes to us from Ars Technica. I thought this was a fun little story, and I thought you would enjoy it. So apparently, there is a trial going on right now in the Court of Appeals in DC, and a computer scientist is trying to register an artwork that was created by artificial intelligence, but the computer scientist is basically saying, hey, I made the AI for this thing, so I should get the copyright on this piece of art that it created, right?
Okay.
So in their rule to dismiss this guy's case, they cited data.
No.
And I love it. They pointed out to Data's very famous poem about his cat.
Yes.
Yes. And the poem, what was the name of the poem? Do you remember? Felis Catechus?
Felis Catus, does your taxonomic nomenclature? Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
And it's slightly less known sequel. Ode. Oh, it was called Ode to Spot, and it's slightly less known sequel, Ode to Spot 2, The Deuce.
Yes.
That premiered on this very podcast.
Yes. So one of the judges, it's a 3-judge panel, right? But one of the judges in her ruling basically saying, yeah, buddy, no, you can't do that. Basically says that, look, that's neat that you brought up data, because the guy originally brought up data. Like, hey, if Data's like making poems and pieces of art, like he could copyright it. First off, dude, that's a fictional television show. That's not real life.
Yeah.
Let's just start there. But then the judge went on to basically say, Data might be worse than ChatGPT at writing poetry, citing his poem.
Wow.
But his intelligence is comparable to that of a human being. If AI ever reached Data levels of intelligence, then maybe copyright law could shift. But until then, no.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, in the next 10 years, we've talked about this before, about AI and what I think it's going to be capable of. And we've talked about copyright, especially considering the fact that I think within 5 years, if I want to, well, if I want to and they let me, I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to say, hey, computer, I want you to give me Deep Space Nine, Season 8, Episode 1, 45 minutes long. Give like 3 basic points that I want to see in the episode, and I'll be able to see a photorealistic episode.
Yeah.
I think we're 5 years away from that. Now, are they going to try to put restrictions on that, copyright restrictions? Because, if I go to ChatGPT, from what I understand, there are certain things I can't ask it to create for me, whether it's because of copyright or decency or whatever.
Right.
It won't give me an image that I asked for if it's against their policies.
Right.
So I don't know how far they can, if I might, the system might be capable of fulfilling that request, but it might not allow it legally. So
there are tricks around that.
Oh, I'm sure there's dark
yeah.
I mean, if you want to see something adult content that ChatGPT won't let you see, I'm sure there are other bots that will, but that's going to be a hot button issue in 5 years. All of a sudden, MASH season 30 starts showing up, and it's like, well, wait, what? Or brand new episodes of Deep Space Nine and Voyager, using photorealistic, age appropriate actors.
I cannot wait till I make Breaking Bad Paddington.
You can do it. You'll be able to.
Yes. Yeah.
And if it's just a matter of if you go through the legal programs and stuff, if you'll be able to do it. But in 5 years, photorealistic 45-minute episodes of whatever you want.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think that's coming. I really do think that's coming. I think it'll be kind of fun though if you can do that. If you could feed it like some of these comic book story arcs that went through.
Yes.
Like what was that? Angel season 8 or Buffy season 8 or I think they did a season 11 of Smallville.
Smallville, yes.
Yeah. So
or like the book that I'm reading right now, Star Trek: The Next Generation teams up with the X-Men.
Yeah. Stuff like that. That would be kind of neat. So
yeah, in which Aurora Monroe is having an affair with Captain Picard.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting.
At least it looks like it's leading up to that. So I'll let everybody know.
Picard is looking to change the weather, I see.
Yes, very much so. I predict a high pressure system coming through.
Not a cold front?
No, not a cold front at all.
Okay.
It's got to be weird because I don't care what two actors they were to cast in that kind of a movie. Charles Xavier and Picard are going to look similar.
Either way, yeah.
So,
yeah. That's a bit of a problem.
It's a good book though. I'm having fun reading.
Okay. Well, cool.
And it's an actual book, I'm actually reading words and letters and things. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right. And then our last news story comes to us from Polygon. And I just thought I would share this just because it's out there. It's not really that big of a thing. But apparently, there's this whole it's March Madness, NCAA, right? And because of that,
go blue.
Paramount Plus is now reduced itself for students. For a limited time, you can get a year of Paramount Plus for 50% off as long as you verify that you're a student. So
that's a good
I will
deal.
have this story link in the show notes. I think this is just in the US. But basically you would end up paying about $30 for the year and you would get the ad supported version of Paramount Plus. So you'd be able to watch Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. Just thought people would want to know that if they don't already have a subscription. So,
okay.
Yeah,
I think that's a good deal. I mean, Paramount Plus is not worth $10 a month, or $15 a month like some other like HBO or Disney.
Right.
But it's definitely worth the $60 a year for the regular price. The ad supported. It's definitely got some good content.
Yeah. It's got a lot of the Showtime stuff too, which people don't talk about.
Yep.
A lot of that stuff is pretty quality programming.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, and then the $30 a year for students, that's a no-brainer for me. There's a lot of content for $30.
Yeah. You can watch your Paw Patrol.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All your Dexter shows.
Yeah, Young and the
All
Restless.
800 of them. All the other Yellowstone shows except for the original.
Yes, all the Yellowstone shows except for Yellowstone.
Right. Yeah.
I'm currently watching 1923. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm watching Yellowstone Miami.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's great.
Yeah, it's weird. It's all Cubans, very angry.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Kevin's tricky says Taylor Sheridan is basically it's his channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting that way, man.
I mean, all the shows, I just started watching Tulsa King.
Yeah.
I watched Landman. That was a good show with Billy Bob Thornton. That was a good show. Yellowstone, 1890, whatever, and 19.
Jasper's Yellowstone Nights.
I mean, and they're all Tyler Sheridan. I mean, Tyler Sheridan is that. I mean, he's the man right now.
I mean, they struck it rich with him, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he struck it rich with them.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right. Well, with that, we should probably get to our main topic.
Let's
Star Trek Into Darkness. So get your flashlights, kids.
Fun will now commence.
All right. So we are talking Star Trek Into Darkness. This film was released in 2013. So it's been, 12 years?
Yep, been 12 years.
Surprised me. I thought, I didn't realize it was that long.
That old. I know. The time seems to be flying.
I pulled up the Rotten Tomato score, and I want to share this with you.
Okay.
Because I remember when this came out, people were not happy. Right?
Right.
So, spoilers if you haven't seen this film, guys. But come on, it's Star Trek Into Darkness. 12 years ago, we've seen it. So this movie was not well received. People were mad. I remember that they did a whole marketing campaign that Benedict Cumberbatch's character was going to be John Harrison, and immediately everyone went, "Oh, it's going to be Khan," and the studio kept saying, "No, it's not Khan at all. No, you guys are silly. No." Yeah. Right? Everybody saw through the charade, and then when it finally was revealed that yes, it is Khan, people felt it was just not that great, and but critically and audience wise, it's got pretty good scores.
Okay.
An 84% from critics, 89% from viewers. That's a lot higher than I thought.
That's pretty good. That's
not terrible. So I don't know what that says, but that's where it's at.
Well, I think that says that a lot of, in 2009 when the Star Trek came out, it got a lot of non-Trek people to watch it. I remember we talked about this last week. Some of my friends that were into Star Trek really liked the 2009 J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie, and right. I think that carried over to this movie. And I think if you were able to pull yourself away from Ricardo Montalban, from Star Trek 2, from our extremely emotional memories of watching Spock die at the end of spoiler alert the end of Star Trek 2, if you're able to pull yourself away from that or not experience that in the first place, I think Into Darkness probably was a really good film from a story standpoint. Star Trek fans, of course, were going, what the hell? They're rehashing Star Trek 2, and they're doing it too early. And because even Mrs. Strongbeard was asking me yesterday, what was the original timeline for when Spock died and Kirk? Was that? And I'm like, no, Space Seed. Space Seed is when they originally did the Khan story, but the whole him being re-woken up and somebody dying, that was Star Trek 2 that took place years later. It's very confusing for even Star Trek fans.
Right.
So it was all over the place.
Yeah, well, the film had a budget of about $190 million. It ended up making just over 467. So
commercial success.
Yeah, it made money. It didn't make nearly as much as they had hoped, but it made money.
Okay. So it made money.
Yeah, Kevin Strecky says the big issue with rehashing is older fans remember. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Like I just said, you'd have to remove that part of your memory in order to really enjoy this film. Because any Star Trek fan, you and I are going to watch this movie and go, oh, that's, he said that instead of him. And I mean, I remember they were trying to get, in some of the scenes, they were trying to get the cadence of it. In the original Star Trek 2, after Spock had done what he did to save the ship, it was McCoy that called up to the bridge and said, better get down here, better hurry. And in this movie, it was Scotty that said it in the same, get down here, better hurry. It was the same cadence. They were trying to match it. And it's like, either be your own thing or don't.
Right. And I would say they would probably say it was an homage. I will say this about the movie. I really like the score. Michael Giacchino did an amazing score.
Beautiful.
Michael Giacchino has since done a ton of films. For those of you who don't know, he did the score for Jurassic World. He's done a bunch of Marvel movies. He also did Batman, Rogue One. So this guy he's killing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really like I don't know who did the original Star Trek, the original 2009 Star Trek.
Oh, yeah.
Scene.
It was him. It was Giacchino.
Okay. I really like that music. That soundtrack to me is in my top 10.
Yeah.
Of movie
it's really good.
Yeah. The score is amazing.
I will say though, so the premise of the film, it's basically Wrath of Khan, but redone, remixed. The Federation is attacked. There's some 9/11 vibes there. The Federation is attacked, and basically all of the top brass of the Federation come together to figure out what's going on, and then that's when they're really attacked because John Harrison, a.k.a. Khan, knows their protocols and knows that all of the leaders are going to be meeting in one situation room to figure out what to do, and then that's when he attacks.
Right.
From there, Kirk is tasked with going to take out Khan, and so as they're on their way, that's when we have the moral dilemma of, do we just kill this guy or not? Kirk is very much on the side of, let's just kill him, forget it. But Spock helps him remember that, hey, that's not what we do here, man. And so they capture him, and they bring him. They're going to bring him back to Starfleet. That's when they're intercepted by RoboCop, and RoboCop says, that you were supposed to kill him. And from there, we realize there's a horrible conspiracy, a proud tradition of evil Starfleet admirals, and we meet the evil Enterprise, aka the Vengeance.
The evil Enterprise.
That's what it is.
I'm looking at this stuff. If the Vengeance can be made like this, why don't they just make all Federation ships like this? Don't keep it to yourself. I mean, you've got enemies. I mean, he's like, his whole thing, RoboCop's whole thing is, we've got enemies, we need to fight them. Hey, I got an idea. Make all the ships like your ship.
Yeah.
You'll just completely decimate anybody you come across. Klingons, Romulans, doesn't matter.
I think in the premise of the movie, it was Khan who helped him create that ship.
Okay.
So that ship is the prototype, and the idea is they're all going to start being that way.
Sure.
But, because basically RoboCop is trying to spark a war between the Klingons and the Federation because he feels like war is going to happen anyways.
Okay. So for our younger viewers, the reason why we keep saying RoboCop is because the Admiral's played by Peter Weller, who famously played RoboCop in the 1987 movie RoboCop.
Right.
Which, if you haven't seen it, it's a classic, and you must stop what you're doing after the podcast and watch it right away.
Yeah, stop what you're doing, because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah.
Can I talk as we go through the synopsis? There's a couple
go for it.
This warp beaming thing that
there are going to be so many issues. Yes.
So I guess now that that Spock told Scotty how he made his own
original recipe Spock. Yes.
Original recipe Spock told new recipe Scotty, this is how I'm giving you the transwarp formula that you will come up with, but now you're not going to come up with, but you got it now. So now we can beam people not only at warp, but we can beam people from Earth to Kronos
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
Okay. We don't need starships at all.
That's one of the issues. Absolutely.
And he did this like okay, where is this transporter system? Was it on board this attack ship that he was in? This little tiny scout? Was it someplace else? How does this work?
He did it like just from his pocket portable transmitter.
Oh yeah, pocket portable transmitter. I've got an issue with portable transporters too.
Yeah,
they've shown little, Data had one, and Paris had one, and people have shown these little tiny. The transporter system in the Star Trek technical manual. I don't mean to get all nerdy on you, but
hold on.
Yeah.
What did you say? Star Trek what?
The transport system in the Star Trek
Warning! Nerd alert!
The Star Trek technical manual shows that the transporter system is huge.
I'm sorry, the computer just had that auto alert and
so
couldn't wave it off.
In the technical manual, it shows that the transporter system is humongous.
Right.
It has to be. There's so many components to it, and you can't. I don't care if it's the 31st century or the first century or where. You can't have it be in this little tiny thing.
There's a lot to it.
There's a ton to it. So
yeah,
that right there, I did. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
I could go with a tiny little thing that connects to a transporter. Like, hey, I've got this device that will hack into the closest local transporter and transport me. I can get behind that. So when Paris and in Star Trek in Voyager, when Paris and Kim were in an alternate timeline and they were trying to escape, he whips out this portable transporter. I don't like the portable transporter idea, but if it's a hacking device that sends out a signal to the nearest transporter system and then uses it, that I can buy.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. The one of the biggest plot holes in this movie is, and in Star Trek, is this trans warp beaming.
Yeah, they didn't think it through when they came up with it.
No, not at all.
It needed to have limitations. Like it could only go so far, or like you could build the device, but the device is like a one-time use. And so every time you wanted to do it, you'd have to rebuild the device.
Right.
Yeah, and it's got all you got to do is put you can build the device, but it has very rare components, so it's impossible to do it, or it's very difficult to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, he just used a commonly available thing from Scotty.
Yeah. Yeah.
He can build this.
Yeah. He just MacGyvered it together.
Yeah. He watched a YouTube video.
Yeah, exactly. So RoboCop is not happy with Khan and Kirk, and so Khan and Kirk decide to team together to take down the evil admiral, and so they transport over to his ship, and they fight him, and then from there, basically Kirk is like, "Oh, I'm gonna take," or Khan is like, "Oh, I'm gonna take my revenge and take this badass ship, and now we're gonna go target Starfleet headquarters." And at that point, the Enterprise is so just in so much trouble. It's so battle damaged that it really can't put up a fight.
Right.
And so the warp core is offline and completely damaged. And so someone needs to go into the center of the warp core, realign the flashlight or whatever that thing was. Yeah. And once they do that, then power comes back on, because at this point they're free falling into Earth. They've been pulled into Earth's gravity field.
Yeah. Yep.
So Kirk makes the ultimate sacrifice, goes in there. He kicks the flashlight on, but there's so much radiation that it's a suicide mission.
Yep.
And at that point, Spock goes to see his friend, but they are separated behind that glass wall, just like in Wrath of Khan, when Spock gave himself up to save the ship. This time it was the opposite, and Kirk saved himself up.
Yep.
Oh, Kevin's Trek. He says he really disliked how they switched up the roles in that scene. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. Like,
it's hard to talk about, I didn't want this to turn into I like Star Trek 2 so much better than this movie, because obviously
Mhm.
Star Trek 2 was a better movie than this. Even though Star
Yeah.
Trek 2, I'm in the minority. Star Trek 2 is not my favorite Star Trek movie.
It's not
up
my
there.
favorite one either. It's
Um,
good, but it's
But I gotta say that the scene in Star Trek 2, it number one, the warp core is insanely complicated in this movie.
Yeah.
It's a Budweiser factory meets the iPhone store,
Mhm.
meets an electrical power plant, all rolled into one. And I get that a warp drive is probably complicated, and we've been spoiled over the years with simplified warp drives. But the way that Spock in Star Trek 2 fixed the warp core, it seemed more intimate. The peril he was in felt more intimate. The camera angles, the fact that his face was literally all up into the whatever radiation it was spewing out, it was right there.
That scene is so iconic. It's even been memed to death. Like this ship accident.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
Bobcat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Spock doing a death scene is so much more better than
So
Kirk
much more
doing-
better.
than Kirk doing a death scene, especially knowing that Kirk's not really going to die.
Right.
But just the physical act of him saving the ship, the simplicity of removing that thing,
Mhm.
putting his gloved hands into the thing in Star Trek 2.
Mhm.
It was sort of all up in his face. I thought the makeup was better in Star Trek 2.
Yeah.
The radiation damage. I mean, it just
Yeah.
it was more personal. It was
Mhm.
it drew me in more than jumping up on the monkey bars and swinging and kicking it. It just
Right.
you know. I know you can't see radiation, but they did a very good job visualizing it in Star Trek 2.
They then so Kirk is dead. Spock decides he's going to go after Khan and get revenge for his friend. So they basically go down to Earth, because now that the warp core is back online, they can operate the Enterprise. They go to Earth, and Spock goes after him, which physically makes sense because Khan is an augment. Khan's got super strength, and then Vulcans are stronger than humans, so they more physically match up. So I did like that part of it, that aspect.
Yeah.
That made sense to me, and so they fight, and eventually Spock wins with the help of Uhura, and so they were able to capture Khan. What we had then learn is that Khan has a very special situation with his blood, and they use it to then save Kirk and resurrect him. We are introduced to Khan magic blood.
I don't like it.
Here's the thing. I think it sets up the next movie very well, because now we're in a Federation that has no death, that has no disease. Everything is fine. It's a true utopia. What will they do for the third film?
We can go anywhere and we could live forever. Super
Indeed.
blood.
We have immortality with our
Super
magic
blood
blood.
from a genetically enhanced individual that was created in the 1990s.
And we have him frozen back in his cryotube.
Yeah.
So we can literally pull more magic blood whenever we need it.
Bring it back whenever we want.
We've got 70 other ones plus,
That's the second plot hole. That's the second.
That's the biggest plot hole.
Plot hole right there.
Yeah.
I had a problem with just how far would genetic manipulation help you create a super being.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that genetics alone would be able to allow you to take Kirk knee kicks to the face over and over and over again.
Mhm.
I mean, he doesn't have invulnerable skin. He's just like, even if he was 3 times as strong,
Yeah.
okay, and twice as intelligent.
Yeah.
If he's twice as intelligent, that would still give him an IQ of 200. And
Right.
he would still, and if he's 3 times as strong, he would still be able to bench press 600 pounds.
Right.
That makes him, that makes him like incredibly super powered. But like the way they portrayed it in this, he had like, I don't know. It was like Superman strength. He could, when Kirk was beating him and just mercilessly, I didn't.
And Khan wasn't flinching.
And Khan wasn't flinching and didn't show not a cracked lip or a
Yeah.
bruised face or nothing. That was a little unrealistic to me.
Yeah.
But-
I was very frustrated with the magic blood. I was very frustrated with that storyline plot hole. That said, though, going back to this movie in the wake of Discovery, Picard, the earlier seasons, perhaps to paraphrase Thanos, perhaps we judged you too harshly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because I went through it and I was like, this isn't great, but it's not terrible.
It's not terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. I enjoyed watching the film. I really did.
Yeah. I will say, I very much got the vibe of Strange New Worlds throughout the movie.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and that brings up another point. Something that they tried to do in the last movie and they had to cut it. The Klingons.
Yes.
Let's talk about the Klingons.
Yes.
So, the Klingons came out, they're different look, they're
Mhm.
different ships, and people are either I don't care or all up in arms. And what I wanted to talk about was they painted themselves in a corner, and Picard season 3 is a good example of why that's a bad thing. When you're making these movies and you're creating new Klingons, you have to say to yourself, in this franchise, will we ever bring back another character of this species? And of this character, of the species, which character is the most iconic? Worf.
Right.
You couldn't bring back Worf and make him look like that guy.
No, you could not.
It would burn Paramount Studios to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So why? You've got a template. I'm not saying everything has to be a carbon copy, but let's use the template so that we can bring back characters like Worf. Because if you brought back Worf with the original Michael Westmore makeup, you wouldn't think that these guys were the same species.
No. And for those of you listening, we have an image of the Into Darkness Klingon up there right now.
He looks more reptilian.
Yeah.
Like scales and not, skin folds. I get the jewelry there. It's for in the behind the scenes, they talked about the jewelry is like for every kill they add a piece of jewelry or body art or
sure
mutilation. So
yeah, it reminded me more of the Discovery Klingons.
Yeah. Oh yeah, very much so.
You
that's
can
where
see
Discovery got their influence from.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of the same people. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But yeah, I wasn't that mad about the Klingon design at the time, but I didn't think it was a good design.
Right.
Like, I wasn't mad that they changed it up. I was mad that I did not like the look of it.
Yeah. I mean, and like the Batleth that they had. It was clearly a Batleth, but they had to make it different. They couldn't give it a regular Batleth design because of reasons.
Right.
I don't think there would have been anything wrong with because they had a weirdly shaped the blade design curved out, but also curved in. It was just a weird choice.
Yeah.
I mean, would you have been mad if like just they were holding just regular Batleths?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Even if they were like a little more ornamental, like the sort of Kalis.
Like if they had like your Batleth, right? But maybe put some, I don't know, sawtooths on them, right?
Right.
Just to make them a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like if you that straight part in the middle,
yep.
If you filled that with sawtooths, so like you could like theoretically cut through somebody.
Right.
Great. It's different. It's more. It looks more aggressive.
Yep.
And you've got your different design, but you're still within, within the style.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kevin Strachey said they're Northern Klingons.
Yeah,
that's
he's
right.
a Northerner.
Yeah. So.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Again, I don't hate this movie, especially compared to like New Trek, but just wasn't loving it.
No.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I didn't hate in the movie. What I did kind of love in the movie.
What's that?
Alicia Eve.
Oh, yes, yes.
She is a tall drink of ice water.
Indeed.
So Alicia Eve plays Dr. Carol Marcus.
Mhm.
In the movie, she's a weapons expert.
Yes.
And that kind of tracks because she's the one that in the original movies created the Genesis device or helped create the Genesis device. So the fact that she's a weapon expert here and with the Kelvin timeline, it sort of makes sense that she's got an English accent. And that's been explained away in the commentary by that her admiral father sent her away to boarding school so he could focus on resurrecting bad guys from the 20th century. So she went away to England, still became a member of Starfleet, still became a doctor, but that's why she's estranged from her dad and went away to boarding school and speaks with an English accent.
Okay. Much like French Picard speaks with an English accent.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's the gratuitous let's put her in her underwear shot for no reason other than just to do it. Which people did sour on.
Yeah. From a storytelling standpoint, I was like,
yeah.
But she's gorgeous, so I get why they did it.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's not the movie tickets.
Right.
Yeah. So, I get it. But yes, it was gratuitous. What else? I remember when it came out because I did like the first one, the 2009 film. So, and it had been a while because it'd been like 4 years between the two, which was kind of surprising.
Yep.
I don't remember hating it as much as everyone else, but I don't remember loving it as much as everybody else.
Right.
But okay, what would you have done for a sequel instead? Would you have gone this route with Khan? Would you try to do something different?
It's when you're doing something like Star Trek, and I've always had this thought about you have this impossible thing that you have to do, which is appease the fans.
Right.
So, there's the on the one side, you want to give them something familiar because they're Star Trek fans because they like Star Trek and they like Star Trek things.
Right.
Okay. On the other hand, you need to bring a fresh perspective.
Yeah.
And the fans are going to be pissed no matter which direction you go. It's either they're going to be like, what is this? I've never seen this before. Why would you even do this? You should have done a Star Trek movie, not this. And then they do this and you're like, what are you doing? We've already done this. We've already seen this. Do something new. So you can't appease anybody.
Yeah.
So, but I think an original story would have been better.
So I think, especially with these Kelvin movies, because you very early on in the first film, you say basically whatever your lives were going to be, it's different now. So that gives you all the possibility to do all the things, right?
Correct.
And you've got so many decades of Star Trek storylines to pull from, right? And so what I would have done is let's use this as an opportunity to put the TOS crew in situations that they would not normally be in, right?
Right.
So your first movie was basically let's put them together, let's have them have an adventure. They fight Nero, and great. Now they're solidified as a crew, right? I think you could have done, because one of the knocks that we get with all three of these movies is that every single villain is, I hate the Federation and I want to stop them.
Right.
And then our crew needs to go stop the bad guy. I think you could have done something different completely. I think you could have done, okay, so at the time we had Voyager who did some pretty neat stuff with being an isolated ship, right? And in the first film, the crew is very much attached to Starfleet. You could have done a thing where, very much like Voyager, they are now stranded on the other side of the galaxy and they have to fend for themselves, right?
I like it.
So now they don't have the support of Starfleet. Can this crew still hold it together? Right? So that would be your sequel film, is what I would do. right? And then basically like it's them versus like an evil Enterprise, an evil faction, that crew that is also stranded, and also like, you know, basically there's only one way out, but only one ship can make it through,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so these two have to fight each other to get back to where they want to be. And then at the very end, what I would do is I would either choose one of two things: that the way through is a Borg conduit,
Yes.
and so now you're going to do TOS versus the Borg in your
Uh-huh.
third film, or the way through is a Q, and now you're going to do Q versus Kirk
Okay.
for your third film.
Yeah.
So that way it's different villains, it's different things. The other thing I thought about was, well, you could also do where they set it up that, okay, it's a Borg conduit and they go through it, and by the time they get out, they land in the Gamma Quadrant, and now they're going to meet the Dominion. So each film is a completely different villain. So like, okay, your first film is evil bad guy. Your second film is evil Enterprise crew. Your third film is evil Federation, the Dominion.
Okay.
So that way they're all significantly different.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Right. And the fact that they're no longer connected to Starfleet, it gives you the chance to focus on the characters within the ship. So we get to know them better. We get to see them, coincide together, gel together more.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I would go with it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, you're obviously a writer.
I try.
You're obviously a writer.
Yeah. Kevin Straight, I want to see more bonding. See, that's what you do. Something
Yeah.
like that. You would get those moments.
Because these are we like the, you know, for all of its flaws, we really like this crew. We like
Yeah.
the incarnation of this crew. You know, we want to see more of it. You know, even if we
Yeah.
don't agree with some of the relational things, you know, like in the movie they definitely delve a little bit more into the Spock Uhura relationship, which in the original series and Strange New Worlds would be icky. But in this movie, you know, I still think it's a little icky because he was a commander and she was a cadet.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some power dynamics there that are not the best.
No, I agree.
Kevin Strecky, this is why Hollywood is stupid. Why don't you have their job, Daniel?
Well,
I'm trying.
And I'm 100% behind you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. I'm trying.
You've got my full support.
That's right. Two people.
Yep.
Yes.
I think I speak for just about everybody who listens to this podcast when we say that the ideas that you've come up with are fantastic.
Oh, well, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're stroking my ego.
Well,
yeah. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with it. All right. So then we got one more film to review. That'll be next week. We're gonna go Beyond, Star Trek Beyond, which finally we will get the return of the Beastie Boys into Star Trek.
yes.
Yeah. Because that's what was missing from this film, really.
We needed some Beastie Boys.
I mean, if they were fighting Khan to Brass Monkey, it would have been so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So overall, what would you give this film?
Let's see. On a scale of, let's say, 1 to 5, 1 being terrible, 5 being it may be like the best film I've ever seen, I would give it like a 3.5.
Okay. I was going to give it a 3.
Okay. Yeah.
That's...
It's fine. It's not great. It's not terrible. I didn't hate watching it. I had my big bowl of popcorn and I watched it Friday night and it was fine.
Yeah. I sometimes with these rewatches, I just watch them in the background. This time for these movies, I've actually sat down, turned off the lights, you know, popcorn, soda, and actually watched them like I was watching a movie I hadn't seen for the first, you know. So the special features were pretty good. Talked about the, you know, from the beginning of the movie to the end, the beginning of the movie, they talked about creating that red planet with the white, crusty, pasty people.
Yes.
They talked about, and this is why movies cost so much to make. They talked about, well, we're going to go to Hawaii. So they went to Hawaii to look at the filming locations, and Hawaii, it turned out, was going to be just too expensive. So in the end, they ended up creating that forest from scratch.
That's crazy.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
They didn't want any CG. All the red stuff that they're running through, that's all practical. It's all every leaf was stapled on individually. It was just insane. Watch the special features if you've got the Blu-ray. At the end of the movie, there's the sort of like the it looks like a graduation ceremony at Starfleet.
Yeah.
They use some extras from an organization called the Mission Continues. The Mission Continues is a veteran organization that sort of pairs veterans that just got out of the service with some volunteer opportunities. So they're not in every city, but they're sort of nationwide. So you might want to check them out. The Mission Continues. But overall, they talked about bringing back Khan, and they sort of said, well, you know, we could go in a lot of different directions, but we're going to go with Benjamin Cumberbatch just because he's a good actor.
Okay.
And they admitted that he doesn't look anything like Ricardo Montalban. They weren't trying to go for anybody that looked like Ricardo Montalban.
Right.
They just they wanted to go with good over authenticity. And some people might agree, some people might disagree, but here we are.
You know, thinking about it, you could have done something interesting with Khan too. You could have done, because this is a whole new universe, right? Everything's different. What if Khan was the first Soon android? So instead of enhanced people, they're enhanced androids.
Yeah. Because if you look at because you can kind of look at the timeline of Enterprise and then how it diverges during the Kelvin incident, and you could kind of so they kind of say that they kind of went a different direction, and they made Soon type android.
Yeah, you'd have the Khanbot.
Yeah, because they make
the Khanbot
in Star Trek Enterprise. There is a Soon that meets up with genetically enhanced people,
right?
And so
then he's like, robotics is the way to go, and
right.
Yeah, that could be interesting. It's different.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah, just an idea. I don't know, like how far you'd go down that rabbit hole, but it's an idea.
Sure. Sure.
I did look on IMDb. I found one bit of trivia that I thought was hilarious. According to them, take this with a grain of salt. There's nothing on here that cites the source for it, but it says, according to a condition for Leonard Nimoy to appear in the film as Spock, J.J. Abrams was supposed to make sure that there was ice cream or coffee ice cream, which Leonard Nimoy loved, was available to Leonard at all times while filming.
Sure. I mean, look, if you're Leonard Nimoy, and you want coffee ice cream as a condition of you doing the movie, you're gonna get him coffee ice cream.
Here's the thing: he's in one scene, basically.
Yes.
So he was there for 2-3 days at most.
At most.
So that having ice cream on set totally seems reasonable to me.
Yeah. Well, it should be worth noting. It said on IMDb also that this was Leonard Nimoy's final film role. So,
that is true. That is true. So
it really made me think about the next film, and I'm looking forward to seeing that again.
Yeah, I have not seen Star Trek Beyond since the movie theater.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So I vaguely remember it. I have seen clips every now and then on social media, but not the whole thing. So I'm excited to see it.
I think generally speaking, most people put Star Trek 1 or 2009 was number one, then Beyond, then Into Darkness. I think.
I think that's typically how they're ranked. Yeah.
But Beyond is a very good film.
Yeah. Well, let's speaking of rankings, I did put on social media to kind of get feedback for us. I put a picture of all 3 Kirks, live action Kirks, and I said, hey, which one's your favorite? And so we can talk about that, and let's get to listener feedback.
Can we
listener feedback?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. Can we tell people how they can be part of listener feedback?
Oh, yeah. So they can X up in the chat, and we will bring them on. I know Chazbiz likes to do that.
Yeah. So if you're in the chat in YouTube, just type in X, and and Daniel will send you a link to get on the show.
To get on the show. Yeah, just make sure you have a webcam and mic so that way you can talk and join us.
Yes.
We also do have a phone number that you can leave us voicemails and we will play them on the show. Let me get that number. It is 570-661-0001. That's 570-661-0001. Love to play your voicemails. And of course, we're all over social media at Trekcast TNG on Facebook, YouTube, formerly Twitter, now X, whatever. That one it's there, but TikTok, Instagram. The Instagram account is just blowing up lately, man. Holy cow. Yeah.
Good.
But
That's good.
yeah. So I did post, hey, who's your favorite Kirk? Hands down, far and away, Shatner won. Everybody loves Shatner.
Okay.
But a lot of people did put that they very much respected and enjoyed Chris Pine.
Yes.
Yeah. There were for Paul Wesley, who plays Kirk on Strange New Worlds, it was a mixed bag. Most people did enjoy him, but felt like they have not seen enough of him to really make a decision.
Yeah, I don't like him.
Yeah. It's fine.
Plain and simple. I don't like him.
Yeah. Yeah. There were other people who did say the best Kirk was Jim Carrey on In Living Color. So, I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah.
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 And then one or two people posted Tim Allen and said that this is the best Kirk from Galaxy Quest.
I can't disagree.
Yeah, I can't either. That's a pretty strong argument. So,
Yep. Gotta love
All right.
Galaxy Quest.
all right. Well, we got Chazbiz, so let me
I
bring him
also have
on.
a couple emails too.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do the email and then we'll get
Okay.
Chazbiz on.
Got one here from Douglas Alexander. He says, I remember seeing the first photographs of the Enterprise from this movie in May of 2008. They had released them because they were going to take another full year to finish the movie special effects and wanted to give folks a little taste, I guess.
Okay.
I honestly was not keen on the look of the ship, though I've come to love it since. But what struck me was the bridge, all that white and chrome. The thought that I had then and that I have today is that it reminded me of the fragrance counters at Dillard's. Yeah, y'all's comparison of the bridge to the Apple Store is apt, but Dylan's has more chrome. As I said, I wasn't keen about the ship's design, but I was eager for the new Star Trek. So eager for the new Star Trek that I decided in my headcanon that this was going to be an alternate universe story, and as such, I was going to love it regardless. When that actually turned out to be the case, I almost shouted, but with the rest of the audience in consideration, I did not. Live long and prosper, my dudes. Doug Alexander, Commander. Looks like he's a Star Trek fan club.
Oh,
USS
nice.
Atlanta, NCC 185.
Ooh, nice. Out there in Hotlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. As you're reading all that, all I'm thinking is like, how much does that Enterprise smell like Axe body spray?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I got another one. Faz Bob?
Okay.
In the UK.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He's the one that originally sent me a message on Messenger, and then a couple weeks ago, but I couldn't access Messenger and do the podcast at the same time.
Okay.
Technical reasons. Hi, Scott. Heard your message on the show. Thanks for the email. A reminder. First thing I want to say is I'm a huge fan of the show. I've been listening religiously since 2020. I'm assuming he's talking about our show.
Yeah, you were forgiven, my child.
Yeah. I'm a painting contractor, so work alone a lot.
Okay.
Of the time. And when I have you guys playing in my headphones, it's like hanging out with my buddies.
Oh,
thanks.
nice.
With the upcoming news about the Khan audio drama, I thought I'd share two fan-made audio dramas that I feel are leaps and bounds above any of the Star Trek fan live-action shows I've watched. Just one man's opinion. And he basically goes on to share links to two audio, like fan-made audio books.
Oh, that's cool.
I'll send you the links, and you can post them wherever you want to.
Okay.
So the first one is TNG timeline. The other one looks like it's original series movie timeline. He says both take a couple of episodes to find their feet, but both are fantastic listening for any Star Trek fan. So apparently they're episodic.
Okay.
And both are more Star Trek-like than any modern Star Trek. Keep up the good work. Fazbob from Russington, UK.
Okay.
So Fazbob, thank you very much for the email.
Yeah, thanks for sending that.
And and Douglas, thank you for the email. So keep the emails up, trekcasttng@gmail.com, or you can reach me at strongbeard1701 at gmail.com. So thank you very much for that.
Awesome. All right. Jazbiz has been waiting, poor guy. He's back there with the Godsend device. Yeah. Oh, you can't see it in this. Yeah.
Where is it?
If I do it like that.
There we go.
There you go.
So, Jazbiz is the one big fan.
I gotta get the right arms.
Yeah.
Jazbiz?
Yeah.
Hello.
What's going on, man?
Not much. Same.
Did you watch the movie?
No, but I've seen it
you
enough.
remembered it?
Yeah, that's one thing. Is all these movies I've seen so many times that I pretty much
fair enough.
know beat for beat. So
yeah,
I will say this was my least favorite of the trilogy.
Okay, yeah, that's the typical ranking for people.
Yeah, well, just because he rehashed a classic, it'd be like rehashing Empire Strikes Back or something.
Right.
It's like let's take Empire Strikes Back. And
that's why I called the episode "The Con Strikes Back."
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Actually,
or the Con Awakens. You know, like Force Awakens is the rehash of A New Hope, pretty much.
Right.
So.
Right.
And you don't want to do that. You want to make something new.
So let me ask you this, because I did read somewhere that originally they wanted to get Benicio del Toro to play Khan. Would that have improved things for you?
If you played it like the guy on Star Wars,
or like the Collector in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, but not the Collector.
I would say Benicio. He's a great actor. Like if he would have done it like Sicario or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Then yes,
he could have been a very intimidating Khan.
Yes, very intimidating. Because on the Sicario, he's amazing.
Yeah,
and you can feel his presence. He's like this hitman.
Honestly, when I read that they wanted him, I could see it, man. He would have been great.
I think it would have been great too.
Yeah.
Or you got a Indian actor because it's continuity and singing.
Oh yeah.
You could have had Dave Patel, but he's just not big enough. And
and at the time, you're thinking 12 years ago, he was younger too.
Yeah. And he just came off the Oscar-winning movie and everything, and so he was kind of a hot new item. But the thing is, he just wasn't old enough. He needed to be more mature, and you'd have to have some actor, like you said, like a Benicio del Toro, somebody that's somebody with age on him.
What if you got Keanu Reeves? I am Khan.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah. Don't kill his dog.
Yeah.
So,
don't kill him.
Yeah, the Federation is fucked. If you kill his dog.
The Federation has not been most excellent.
Yes. He just shoots the whole Enterprise because he killed his dog.
Con Wick.
I know Kung Fu.
Yes.
It's like, those John Wick movies are pretty
He does the guitar riff on the Enterprise bridge.
Oh boy.
Wild stallions.
Yes.
Now if a phone booth flew in there and they popped out of there, Bill and Ted.
I'd be down with that.
That'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be all right. Yeah.
So, how would you rank the movie? Give it a
what's my ranking? What's my scale?
Out of 5 stars.
1 to 5.
2.
2? Okay.
Two
right,
to 3. It'd be like a 2.5. So
we have 2.5, 3, and 3.5 here.
Yeah. So, since you love your popcorn buckets, what should have been the popcorn bucket?
Ooh, a tribble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A furry popcorn bucket, and the butter would just stick on the side.
Okay.
Oh God.
You wouldn't want a Vengeance popcorn bucket?
It would have given it away. This black Enterprise, that is so weak. Let's have an Enterprise and we'll paint it black.
Yeah,
and make it.
And it had a kind of a Discovery
bigger
vibe because it had its sections in the middle that were hollow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that DNA is there because it's a lot of the same people.
A lot of the same people.
They even do the where they're shooting across from the Enterprise to the Vengeance, and they've got the like heads up display, and they're in their suits, and they're going, like they did that like I think twice in Discovery.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I like that part. I thought that scene was really cool. My favorite part is probably the first scene of the movie when they're on the planet.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, oh my gosh, they're searching out.
That was pretty epic, especially
worlds.
Ascending from the ocean,
which made no sense.
It didn't make any sense, and I got to think,
but it was a cool effect.
Could a starship be underwater? And I'm like, from a leaking standpoint, yes, it could be underwater because if it withstand the vacuum of space, it's probably airtight. From a pressure standpoint, I'm not maybe with the structural integrity. I don't know. I could geek out about it, but
the shields and all that. It would have made more sense. They're hiding from another. It would have been better if they're hiding from another planet or somebody else.
Another ship or something.
And they hid underwater because
like they had been transported to the Delta Quadrant and had to get out of there.
I mean, even in today's technologies, they've painted the underside of jet planes blue.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So just paint some happy little clouds.
Yes.
Bottom of the Enterprise.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe a happy little bird.
Well, it's kind of like a green airplane when you see that when it's covered in green and looks like a tree flying in the air.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I live by Air Force Base, so I always see the B-1 bombers and AWACS and all those fly over. So
nice.
And when a B-1 bomber's coming. So
yeah.
Because it sounds like a rocket taking off.
Yeah, it's a rumble.
Yes.
I don't know enough about cars about that.
Yeah.
They had a B-1 bomber was the main car in the last Fast and Furious movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Is that the one that the Tomato played in the Cars movie?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't need to know where I'm going. I just need to know where I've been.
Mater.
Nice.
But I wish they would go back to different aliens, different planets. It's the same thing with Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
So it's Strange New Worlds.
We just want more exploring in our exploring show.
Well, like we said,
and occasionally have the bad admiral episode because you're going to have a bad admiral or a bad captain.
Yeah.
Something's going to
New Worlds.
Someone's going to break the prime
directive.
Was that,
Scott?
We want it's like in Strange New Worlds season 2. What we were saying, we want Strange New Worlds in Strange New Worlds.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, there's other alien species you discover, or you got the Orions, you got the what's the guys with the? Is it the Orions?
The Andorians?
Yeah,
Andorians. Yeah, you got the Andorians. You got
or who are the two women that Kirk was having?
Oh yeah, the cat ladies.
The cat ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Avatar.
They had tails.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's bring some of them back.
Yeah.
Kirk was getting some tail. Literally,
Kirk was getting tail in the beginning of Star Trek Into Darkness. He was in bed with two women. That cat lady. They had tails.
They're furries. They're furries. Okay.
Furries. Yeah.
He's into furries.
I'd like to know more about their species.
Just think. Kirk has
is that a species you wanted to explore?
Absolutely.
Kirk has a green sun out there. He has Orion's, he has an Andorian son. He has a cat son. Every species.
There you go.
A bastard children throughout the galaxy.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
that would be a fun villain. Is like one of Kirk's forgotten children.
Yes.
He's like, I'm gonna come kill my dad.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, Star Trek.
But it'd be cool if he was an alien. Like he's forgotten because Kirk. He's kind of like Riker, and that'd be a fun thing with Riker because Riker was promiscuous, so he kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if David Marcus now doesn't exist because it didn't look like Kirk and Carol Marcus hit it off.
Well, the thing is, since it's the Kelvin timeline, he could have a daughter. Because
no, Denise Marcus.
Yeah.
Denise Marcus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you change
or just Marcus.
Or just Marcus.
Marcus.
No, I like Denise.
Marcus
Denise
McMarcus,
played by Margot Robbie.
Yep. That'll work. Yep.
Yes.
So, all right.
And so you have Barbie yourself, and then Ryan Gosling as his other son.
That.
So.
Yeah.
Do you think
anything else?
Will they ever make Star Trek 4?
I don't think so.
Nope.
Okay.
At this point, I don't think
so. Made.
Yeah.
No.
I think you got your trilogy. You're done.
They told their story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're
At
done.
this point, it's been so long since the last one.
Yeah, it's been what, 2016?
Yeah, something like that.
Because the last, when Trekcast, the last guys, the original, the OG crew.
Yeah.
That was the last movie. And I don't think, did they even review that movie? I'm trying to think if they did.
I think they did.
I remember they did a prequel episode like before. And they were going to see it. And I waited. And I was like, are they going to review this movie?
Yeah. Darren and
David
Thomas Ivy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but you're right. 2016. So yeah, it's almost 10
ago.
years at this 9 years right now. So
yeah.
I don't think they're gonna do a fourth film. It wouldn't make sense at this point. Just reboot it.
No, it's doesn't need to happen. So Anton Yelchin isn't going to be able to
reboot. That one was a killer.
They could kill off his character, or they could recast it, and I don't like the idea of either one. So I think they just let that one die.
Yeah.
Well, they could always say he went to another starship or something. If they did it, they could still. But now Star Trek is dead, and they need to either do another movie or actually do maybe a different series, not focus on the Enterprise.
I keep telling you guys, man, they need to do TNG, but for the movies, reboot it. And do a new
TNG, like reboot TNG.
Yeah, as the movies, whole new characters playing those same characters.
Man,
Paramount would be rioted if that happened.
Yeah, I was like, because you're rebooting Picard, you're rebooting Riker,
because you just rehashed Picard. You just gave these characters in this timeline new life. That if you were to recast them now,
okay, then you do Voyager.
You would have to wait another like 10, 20 years, from now.
Then do Voyager. Far and away, Voyager has the numbers on streaming. People love that show.
I'm rewatching it right now.
Yeah,
I think Voyager had more legs, afterwards because of streaming. Because people didn't watch UPN, and then they missed Voyager.
Hey, that's a great idea for another show.
Yeah,
let's do a Voyager movie recast.
Or what we would do. Yep. We did a reboot. What we would do with Voyager, how you would reboot it. But we'll do a show, something like that. We still haven't done Enterprise though, because people feel it's too close.
A little too close,
even though it's been like 30 years.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, it's coming up on an hour 20. I do have one quick recommendation.
Sure.
We watched this movie had a budget of $320 million.
The Electric State?
The Electric State.
Made by the Russo brothers.
And we watched it. It's with Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown. Yep. It's the Russo brothers who brought us,
Endgame and
Avengers, maybe.
Avengers.
Civil War.
It's currently sitting at, I think, 15% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yikes.
15% on Rotten Tomatoes. Whoa.
It was much better than that. My wife and I watched it last night. We very much enjoyed the movie. It was It's not at all anything like, if you have any expectations about the movie, throw them out the window. It's a great popcorn movie. It doesn't make any sense. It's very silly. But it's very emotional. And just watch the movie. It was a lot of fun. You'll enjoy it.
Okay.
It's much better than 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. But the budget is what? Wow.
Yeah.
$320 million. This is a Netflix movie.
The CG is great.
Movie. The CG is fantastic. I really like the acting. Chris Pratt, Millie Bobby Brown. They had some great chemistry as far as the old. It was kind of an older brother, younger sister in peril kind of vibe. And it Yeah, it kind of had.
They fight Mr. Peanut.
Yeah, and
Mr. Peanut is in the movie.
They're a sponsor of the movie, so he's kind of a good guy in the movie.
Okay,
he's like the Abraham Lincoln of the movie. So
yeah, it had Ready Player One vibes. So
okay.
Ready Player One, you'll like this movie. So
all right, yeah, maybe
it's
I'll check it out.
Not 15%. I would say it's more of a 50%.
I get if it was me, I would say 60% makes sense.
60, okay, yeah, I go to 50. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like a movie. If you're going to spend $320 million, why not release it in the theater to recoup some of that money?
Right.
Because even if it makes $100 million, $200 million, you still get something than nothing.
Well, and I don't know the history of the movie. Maybe they were going to, and they just couldn't have a studio.
Well, no, Netflix doesn't release movies in the movie theater.
Was it originally going to be a Netflix movie? So I don't know anything about
that. Anything that's Netflix is usually primarily Netflix. Okay. If they show it in the movie theater, it might be 1 week only. They did it with The Glass Onion with Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
The Ryan
just to make it eligible for awards. So
yes, they'll do that. But they need to, like I said, they need to have like a release window. Show them in the movie theater if they're going to spend that type of money.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they're going to kill the streaming model, wasting money like that, especially percent on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
Okay.
All
right. Well, I think that's pretty much wrapping it up.
Okay.
All right. We'll be back next week with Star Trek Beyond.
Star Trek Beyond.
All right.
Can't wait.
See you guys. Yeah. See you guys next week. Bye.
Later. Bye.
This is Captain Benjamin Sisko of Deep Space Nine and Space God to the Bajorans. I have a mission for you. This falls outside of Starfleet guidelines, so I can't order you, but I'm asking for volunteers. Volunteers who will subscribe to the Trekcast YouTube channel, leave 5-star reviews on your podcast app of choice, and share Trekcast across your social media accounts. If we can make our audience bigger, we might have a chance against the Dominion. Are you ready? Subscribe, like, and share. Are you with me?